So I completely forgot that they were going to be doing a Warcraft showcase on all the different stuff coming out. If you haven't noticed, I was actually in the middle of making stuff back here, so my chair is over there. I am on my knees, and it's absolutely painful right now, but I've got a blanket that I'm kind of kneeling down on. But I'm going to be watching the entire showcase like this, so it kind of looks weird behind me, so you know why that is. But you're going to get my raw reactions to the various Warcraft updates that they're going to be showcasing here. Now, I have already recorded that. This is me recording the intro after the fact. You're going to see some positives. There are positive things that I do say about this video, and you're obviously going to see a lot of negative stuff. And if you're here to bitch about what I have to say that is negative, fuck you. Get out of here. I don't care. But if you are interested in seeing just my raw reaction, my thoughts, whether they're neutral or positive and negative, then please stay tuned for what I have to say, and I will see you next time. That statue that's in front of
Hi everyone.
the BlizzCon Center is the
Welcome
only
to the
thing
Warcraft
of the original
30th
Warcraft
Anniversary
that's left.
Direct and talk about the future. Many of us began our Warcraft adventures as players before we became developers at Blizzard. No
See,
matter what
I
game
tend
we
to
worked
not...
on, we all
I tend to not believe that, because if you look at pictures of World of Warcraft players then versus now, they are vastly different, which is why the game has changed to this newer demographic, but they're leaving the older ones behind. Therefore, my argument is correct. You can complain all you want, but my argument is correct that Warcraft is no longer for the original Warcraft fans, ergo, it is no longer Warcraft. So I don't think Warcraft should be called Warcraft anymore. Fucking change it to Palia. Change it to Dungeons and Fuck Dragons. I don't know, what the fuck. I don't...
share a deep love for the Warcraft universe. Sorting out your minis for your Rumble machine or
I'm gonna stop again right here. Like, I don't know how long this stream is gonna be going on for, but I I've noticed that with Warcraft, I mean, from the Rumble to the Hearthstone to now in actual World of Warcraft, have you noticed that the art style, and this is going back to what I just said, the art style is way more soft. It's more kid-like. You know what I mean? Like, hang on, let me find it again.
Warcraft 3.
no matter just a few, some of it next
I mean, like, look at this. It's obviously going to be for, like, Rumble,
year.
but
Some just a
I'm talking
few
about, like,
weeks from
in
now,
actual
and some will
Warcraft,
even-
a lot of the art has gone way more soft, and they're trying to make it more, like, kid-like. Like, look at Murlocs now. Every single artist, like, art depiction of a Murloc in the game, whether it's a pet, whether it's a Easter egg, whether it's something, they look soft, goofy, fun. Murlocs are not soft, goofy, fun. They are rip your face off, devour you, leave a pile of meat and bones on the floor. That's what they were in Warcraft, and like World of Warcraft. They were in Warcraft. How about we have our original Murlocs back, please? Thank you.
Card and was like, hey, we're looking for experienced RTS players to join our design team. Naturally, I said I wasn't interested. I was gonna go to the Nationals, win that, go to the Worlds, win that. Easy. Well, it was a good thing I kept that guy's card, because 16 years later, here I am, working on a game.
I'm kind of half and half on that, because yes, you want people who actually play the game to like tell you like, oh, how can we improve to make it better? But on the other end, as you do in World of Warcraft, not just Warcraft, but just in general, you have a lot of the elitist end game 0.01% players doing mythic world firsts, calling the shots, like Ian Hazzikostas. And it's like, he can design the raids. He was actually very good at designing raids, but now they made him do everything, and that's where I feel that it's suffering now, because he's designing the game as a player at the top percentage of players, world first kind of stuff. He's not developing the game for everybody. He's developing it for his kind of people. And again, that's why I say like I'm 50-50. You want people who play the game, who love the franchise, but also has experience. That's another thing. They need to have experience in game design, because from my personal experience, you can have great ideas, but they're not practical putting it down into coding, if you know what I mean.
game that remains so. We are up-resing all classic Warcraft 3 assets to HD. You can now customize the type of assets you want to play with and even mix and match if you like. We have also included a bunch of quality of life changes, such as in-game hotkey customization, a revamped ladder, and much, much more.
Hang
we
on.
Hope you enjoy this
Wait. They're updating the original Warcraft. They're not updating and fixing Warcraft 3 Reforged. Why? Why is your development going toward that? That makes absolutely no fucking sense.
update, which will be available to everyone who owns Reforged. Now, I'm not just here to talk about Warcraft 3. We're also here celebrating 30 years of Warcraft. So not only will Reforged be receiving an update today, but we are also releasing fully remastered versions of Warcraft 2 and 1. So you can experience the story
okay.
from the very beginning.
I heard the leaks of Warcraft 2 being reforged. I did not know about Warcraft 1. I just recently replayed Warcraft 1, and it's actually really good. Look at this, like, old school art right here. Like, the old school Warcraft art is just, it's beautiful. But Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 1, I would say more or less Warcraft 2 is when the story really gets interesting. The game, the lore, all that kind of stuff really gets interesting. Like, I'm actually mildly I'm not gonna say optimistic. I'm mildly curious to see how they are going to handle Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2, especially with all the lore changes that have come afterward. Now, I do not want them to add anything that's lore changing post Legion, like all the retcons post Legion. No. I'm okay with fleshing out the first war because they added more lore to Medivh, they added more lore to all these other characters that were not really in Warcraft 1, like Grommash. He was not in Warcraft 1. Kargath, all these other characters, they were not in Warcraft 1. Anduin Lothar was not even a character. I mean, he was in the game for like 1 or 2 levels, and he wasn't really a character. Medivh was just a warlock that you defeated in 1 level. That was it. So them fleshing out the characters, fleshing out Lane and all these other characters, that's completely fine. So if they take that approach and basically recreate Warcraft 1, but with the knowledge of the first war from like the books, like I'm trying to think, like not Beyond the Dark Portal. That's gonna be Warcraft 2. I'm trying to think. Rise of the Horde, maybe? No, not Rise of the Horde. It's gonna be the one after that. I forgot what book. But if they do it like that, I would actually be very interested to see it. The same thing with Warcraft 2 with the Beyond the with the Darkstorm. I forgot what the books are all called. It's been a while.
These remasters.
Yeah, look at that medicine art from '95. Like the original, like I said, medicine art is absolutely beautiful.
Hand-drawn visuals.
Oh, okay, hang on. Look at that. Okay, so he's got multiple units there, so that's Warcraft 2. Unless that's Warcraft 1 and they up. No. He's got oil. That's Warcraft 2. So oil, meat, wood, and gold. Okay, so this is Warcraft 2 right here. So that looks almost hand-drawn. Like, look at the ogre. The ogre looks hand-drawn. It doesn't look 3D like it did in the original game.
They capture the original art style from each game, and you'll be able to swap between.
Oh, that's the original Warcraft 1 right there. I literally just played that. That's the level. I think that's a level 5 when you come back from the dead mines and you have to use your units to stop the Alliance from destroying your base, like the second you log in. And whatever you manage to save, that's what you start off with to go and attack them up north.
The original graphics and the remastered versions in real.
Okay, wow, look at that. That's actually really cool. Yeah, this all looks hand-drawn. Like, the units, they don't look 3D. They look hand-drawn, and I actually, for the type of game that Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2 is, I like that. It actually looks really good. Oh, wait, hang on, go back. Look at the skeleton.
Graphics and the remastered versions.
Look at the dude decaying at the bottom there. Because, like, when you kill a unit, they're dead, and then slowly over time they decay until they're just nothing. So I actually like they're keeping in the decaying part, because with how soft Warcraft developers have gotten over the years, I was afraid, like, oh, we got to censor it. We can't have that. It's too traumatizing for the snowflakes. But I'm actually very glad they're keeping the blood. They're keeping the decay. Like, look at this dude turning into bone. Like, I'm actually glad that they're keeping that.
Real time. For Warcraft 1, we added modern controls.
Wait, okay, so this is Warcraft. Look at all the, see like, what I mean? Like all the decaying bodies, all, can you see my mouse? No, you can't. All, there's just on the right-hand side there, all decaying bodies. But he's saying that this is Warcraft 1, which means, 1, 2, 3, you're gonna be able to have more than just 4 units, it looks like. Because original Warcraft 1, you could only have 4 units at a time moving. So it looks like they're updating it to allow you to have more than that many units, but I wonder what that meat counter is at the top, because unless it's farms, that's probably what it means. It means farm, because it didn't have that originally. It just said you just needed to know how many farms, and if you clicked on the farm, it would tell you how many units you could have out. But having that number up there, so it's saying 11 out of 0, so that's probably telling me like they killed all the, no, they have farms out there. I'm actually not sure, because the 11 is red, so something is wrong. There's peons, so I'm not quite sure what that means, but I'm assuming that has something to do with the farms, because that would control how many units you can have out for how many you could feed.
Such as right-click move, bandbox select, and a faster...
Oh my god, the dragon select is going to be so beautiful. Oh my god, just the shift click for every unit. Oh my god, look at the units. See the unit frames on the left there? They look almost the exact same as the original, just drawn instead. And I like that. That looks so good.
Game speed. Both games.
Oh, there's Warcraft 2 right there with the trolls. Look at the forest trolls. You got them decaying there. You got that meat wagon. The elves. Wow. Shit.
I've also received...
And you still... Okay, so I see up there you still have the oil, because that's going to be useful for, like, transportation units, like the boats and stuff.
Various UI...
Oh, okay, so, they're going to be putting in Tides of Darkness. That was the name of the book, too. But Tides of Darkness and Beyond the Dark Portal as, like, one unit. Look at that original Metzen art for the different campaigns. I actually really like that.
UX improvements, such as tooltips and health bars, mission select...
Wait, tooltips and health bar. Let me see that again.
Various UI and UX improvements, such as tooltips and health bars.
Okay, so it kind of did the same thing originally when you moused over it in the original Warcraft games, but this one looks cleaner, definitely. And it actually gives you the letters of what it's, like, bound to, because what they did in the original game was, let's say, farm, for an example. You want to build a farm. When you click on the peon, well, depending on what his actions are, the first letter of that action is what the hotkey is. So you want him to build, so you have to hit B for build, and then you hit F for farm, because F is the first letter of farm. So that's how you would do that, and then you would have, like, A for attack and all this other stuff.
Bars.
So having it right there on the symbol, my head is in front of it so you can't see it, but have it on the symbols is actually very good, so you don't have to mouse over it to remember what it is. It's just right there. Yeah, that's actually really good. Oh, so you can select missions now, it looks like. Let me see that.
Bandbox select, and a faster game speed. Both games have
Faster game speed was already in the game.
also received various...
But I think they might set it faster by default, which would be good. It would be better, but it already had a faster game speed.
UI and UX
I like how the mouse is a broken work hand. That's pretty funny.
improvements, such as tooltips and health
Okay,
bars,
tooltips.
missions...
Aha, okay, so there it is. So you can select what mission. So there's Swamposaurus, Grand Hamlet, Sunny Glade. Yeah, that's because originally you could not choose what level you wanted to do. You had to type in a cheat code and then type in like Orc 5 to get level 5, which is Red Ridge Mountains. So that's how you had to do it back in the game, back in the day. But it looks like now you can actually choose it. See, look at that. Kill Griselda and her minions in the Dead Mines. I hate that level. That level's terrible.
select screen, and an increased unit selection.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too, was the increased unit selection. That's going to be great.
Warcraft 2 will still have multiplayer functionality, and
Okay.
all legacy custom maps will still be fully compatible and playable.
Legacy custom maps are going to be playable. Wow. Okay, so here's going to be the question. How are they going to do the like custom maps now? Because remember when they came out with Warcraft 3 Reforged, they had everybody sign this thing that whatever map you do or whatever, it belongs to Blizzard, because Dota, the original like MOBA game, was created as a custom map mod / whatever for Warcraft 2. And now that we're going back to Warcraft 2, how are they going to do that? That's going to be very interesting. But also, I remember that people, I think on Warcraft 3 as well, but Warcraft 3, Warcraft 2, a lot of people made like role play maps. Like they would have other players come and they would just kind of walk around. They wouldn't even like do the match. They would just role play and walk around and do stuff. So it was more rare, obviously, but it happened. So that's how actually a lot of different modes and games came to be, such as Dota, even though that was just a separate game mode besides the others. So you're probably going to have to sign a thing as well. So look at when you're a human campaign person, your mouse is a glove. So then when you're an orc, it's an orc hand. That's actually kind of interesting. I do like again. I really like this art style, and it's 2D rather than the 3D. Now, the original Warcraft 1 was pixel, and the pixels looked fine. They were whatever. But they tried doing this, like, pseudo 3D thing in Warcraft 2, and it looks god-awful. So I'm actually glad that they're going a more 2D hand-drawn approach for this. It just looks better.
We are also bringing back the Warcraft Battle Chest, which will include Warcraft 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, so you could buy all 3 of them at a time. So I actually might do that because I've been wanting to replay Warcraft 2 again, and Warcraft 2 is on GOG that you could buy for like $10, but I just haven't gotten around to getting it yet. Now, Warcraft 1, the original Warcraft 1, you can play for free at retro.cz.com and then just type in Warcraft and it will come up. But Warcraft 2 you can only play on GOG right now. I don't think you can play it on normal Battle.net. And then Warcraft 3 is only on Battle.net, and Warcraft 3 Reforged is only on Battle.net.
So here's the 30 years of Warcraft.
See, this is what Warcraft is. That is Warcraft. Just bloody, savage, muscular orcs and humans killing each other. That is Warcraft. Not Dragonflight. Not whatever the fuck is going on in War Within.
And I can't think of a better way.
That is Warcraft. The dragon tamers, the orcish dragon tamers, the dwarven griffin riders, the Kultiris navy. Oh my god, I want for somebody, please, for the love of fucking god, somebody make a 3D action combat Warcraft 2, like a sandbox, open world, you can add survival mechanics if you want to. I'm not talking purely just eating, drinking, building, crafting kind of stuff, but those kind of elements within the Warcraft 2 universe, just setting up your forts and fighting the Alliance or fighting the Horde and going up on ship battles, flying dragons, flying griffins, clashing with each other. Oh my god, I would be in love.
And celebrating, then reliving the story.
And then there's Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 is when I would say the like the story and the design flow of Warcraft definitely took a radical turn in, like, not a radical turn, just a radical shift into, like, well, now we have all these different races and all these different magics, because they were always there originally, but it really went full blown in Warcraft 3, and I don't mind it. Right? I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying it went from orcs and humans to orcs, trolls versus humans, elves, and then dwarves. And then it went into all of this other stuff, right? And it went all out in Warcraft 3. But it still felt, to a degree, because there were some parts I'm just kind of like about, but to a degree, it still felt like Warcraft. And that's why I don't mind it. I like Warcraft 3. I like the stories of Warcraft 3 and all of the other things. You see Ursoc and Ursul, they are fighting with the Night Elves. And you see Arthas fighting Illidan, like all that stuff. I loved Illidan. I loved Arthas. Arthas is, like, I always thought Illidan was the best character, but now I really think Arthas, he's like the character when you think of Warcraft. You think of Arthas and the Lich King. Yeah, Illidan too, but I think he's just a step behind Arthas. But either way, I love both of them.
From the very beginning.
Again, that right there That's Warcraft. Look at, like, you see Grommash way in the very, like, back left corner there, but then you have this orc and the human, and you got Uther there, and I guess that's Muradin or something. You got, oh my god, Samuru, is that his name? The Blade Master, looking at him at the top there. Like, he's just like, I'm going in. And you got, like, the Tauren with the totem, like, that's badass.
Did I mention this is all available right now?
Oh, no shit?
The tides of darkness have come again.
I guess I gotta reinstall Battle.net.
What are you doing, my son? Succeeding you, Father. In truth, it was I.
So is that why they updated Warcraft 3 instead of updating Warcraft Reforged? That actually now makes a lot of sense.
Who was been
By the way, I am definitely going to be playing through all of these because I loved Warcraft 1. It's been so long since I played Warcraft 2 and I want to replay it again. And same thing with Warcraft 3. It's been so fucking long, like I don't remember anything about. I remember some things about it, obviously, Little Timmy and all that kind of stuff. Like I remember some things, but it's been so long. I want to replay it. So definitely, I'm actually gonna clip this and make it its own video. Because I was planning on doing like a whole showcase of just my reaction and cutting through all the boring moments instead of a live stream, whatever. But I'm gonna cut this and be its own Warcraft reaction video. And I'm definitely gonna say, if you want to see me play Warcraft, my raw reactions, like, subscribe, all that stuff. But anyway, I'm going to continue watching this, and if you want to see the other reactions, same thing. All right, let's go. Oh, up-resed visuals. For a second, I read that as pretzel. I'm just like, a pretzel? What? I read that as pretzel, but it's up-resed. Upgraded UI, upgraded ranked play. Okay.
Pretty amazing to think that Hearthstone turns 10 this year.
Hearthstone turns 10? Oh my god, I feel like it just came out. That's... ew. I have a hatred for Hearthstone, by the way, and it's not for the game itself. It was fine when I played it. It was fine, but I am an original trading card game enthusiast, and the fact is, Hearthstone killed the original trading card game. Not just because people stopped playing the original game, but they stopped developing the cards, and because they stopped developing the cards and they were discontinued, stores stopped selling them. And the few stores, like the one store that still has cards, has only TBC cards. They don't have any of the Wrath of the Lich King cards or the Cataclysm cards. And I think they went slowly into Mists of Pandaria, but that's roughly when it ended because of Hearthstone. So, like, you can't even get new cards. You only can find the original, like, first edition cards, which no one wants, because if you do happen to go into a tournament, those are illegal to use, because tournaments, I did tons of tournaments. Tournaments only let you use up to like the last like 3 or 5, depending on what tournament you go to, expansions. And it's not even expansion as in TBC, Wrath of the Lich King. No, there's different, like, every patch was like kind of like in Hearthstone. Hearthstone has the different updates, right? There was like multiple updates within one expansion, World of Warcraft wise. So you could have a card from Wrath of the Lich King, and you're still in the, like, the end of Wrath of the Lich King expansion if it was brand new, and the ones that came out at the beginning, you could not use, because they were illegal. I had a friend that happened to him, he bought a bunch of cards, and a lot of his potion cards, and a couple of his attacker cards, he could not use, because they were from older iterations. So that was something... that's kind of annoying. I mean, I still have all of my cards, but again, they stopped making new cards, so people stopped playing it, people stopped hosting tournaments, people stopped selling the cards. So the original TGC died, and I would rather spend $3 to $4 for a pack of 20 cards than $3 to $4 or $5 for 5 cards that are digital that I can't even hold in my hands. And the TGC cards actually got you rewards in the actual game. Now, I know some things in Hearthstone can get you some things in World of Warcraft, like a mount or whatever. I think actually it was limited, so you can't even get it anymore. But there's tons of loot cards that you can still get today if people are selling them. And I can get it right now in the game, like Spectral Tiger, like Primal Raptor, like the Demon Hunter's Embrace, the Steps of Cenarius, the Path of Illidan, all that kind of stuff.
It's been such an incredible decade. Together, we've made the tavern a place for sharing joy. But for me,
And what I said about in the beginning, I mean, like you can't really see the Murlocs there, but
now we're traveling.
But Hearthstone, like, I get it, they're trying to do like their own art style, but Hearthstone originally had an art style similar, not quite the same, but similar to the original TGC, which was all fan drawn, by the way. So you had many artists, many different art styles, but they all kind of, even within the fan base drawing these characters for the cards, they all seem to have that more savage Warcraft-ish vibe and look and feel. Like, there's a pack of cards that have Rubber Band that I only have. They're not even it's not even a playable deck. I have it just because they look cool. It's just for the art alone. In Hearthstone, a few of them were like that in the original like game when I first played it. But if you look at cards now, they have that softer kid-like art style that I've been talking about, and that is slowly dripping into Warcraft. If you look at cutscenes from newer iterations of Warcraft, like the in-game cutscenes are not even the same models or art style as the game itself. You could tell like something was off. I'm just like, wait, why does Illyria look weird? Because it's a completely different model and they tried to make it look more like this.
Through space. But for me,
the cosmos than ever before. Prepare to travel beyond Azeroth, beyond Warcraft, and into Heroes of StarCraft. I'm super excited for this mini set. It's the first time we've ever explored another universe this deeply in Hearthstone. A ton of people on the team.
Tactility. We wanted to be able to pick up and touch the art that we were creating inside of the computer. So some of us went and printed minis and painted them up like this. And that's kind of really where all this came from. All of these minis were painted by our team. And well, if I'm a little bit biased, but this little guy's my favorite.
what does that say underneath?
Oh, under here?
Yeah.
Oh, it says Jeremy. But we've done more than paint minis since our game launched. We've added new dungeons and at least one new mini every single season.
My brother in Christ, if you're going to paint minis, why are you, again, doing this more kiddish chibi style instead of, you know, actual Warcraft style? Like compare that to this right here. Like, look at this dude. This is a mini I painted. I had somebody 3D print it for me. I know it's kind of fuzzy. It's not really going on there, but that is Warcraft. That is not.
Some of you have even named your kids and pets after characters and locations in the game. Veterans from all over the world. Those who are hearing or visually impaired or have physical challenges. We've welcomed seniors, even whole families playing together with their kids, and so many more who call our world home. No matter who you are, when you come to us...
Nice, the grandstand there. Yes, Warcraft is for everybody. You can play it no matter who you are, what's wrong with you, what's not wrong with you. You could play it, doesn't matter who you are. But to sit there and be on a pedestal, be like, look at us because we do all this stuff. That's what people have an issue with. Okay, that's what people have an issue with. And then showcasing like, look at all these people that they're blind, they're deaf, they're all this stuff. Look at, they're gay, they're trans, they're women, they're black, they all play this game. Yes, because Warcraft, I would say it's not for everybody because there are some things about it that I would say is not for everybody. And I'm talking purely about like thematic wise, right? Like there was that whole controversy about the Alexstrasza story and all this bullshit. It's like, yeah, because it's more realistic in a warfare sense, and she's a dragon. Who the fuck cares? But besides that, right? Besides that, anybody can play the game. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. The issue is you're grandstanding on it. You're saying like, look at us, look at, see. That's why we're pissed off at you. Don't stop. Who the fuck cares? Nobody. Okay? That's coming from somebody who is LGBT, who is Hispanic, who is all this bullshit that you want to grandstand upon, okay? Stop it. Get some help. I also feel that not feel. I feel this is. I think this is a fact. This is going to be a fact that this is not just with World of Warcraft. This is with everything these days. Movies, video games, everything. Warcraft was a specific game, okay? Warcraft was a specific style, type of game, thematic, gameplay, all that kind of stuff. And as I said before, you can be anybody and enjoy the game. You could be gay, you could enjoy the game. You could be black, you could enjoy the game. You could be white, you could be a woman, you could be a man. Doesn't matter, you could enjoy the game. But all these people that put their personality as whatever superficial thing about them that they put atop of everything else, like being gay or whatever, it doesn't matter. Those people then said, well, I want to make this game more about that, because that is what I represent. And that is, again, the issue with modern day media, games, movies, all this kind of stuff. Is like, no, how about you make a game about orcs and humans killing each other and everyone can sit back and watch. We don't care about your life. We don't care about your traumatic past because your dad yelled at you for kissing another person of the same sex. We don't give a fuck. We just want to see orcs and humans kill each other. We just want to see Star Wars being Star Wars. We just want to see Lord of the Rings as Lord of the Rings. We don't care about you inputting your experiences in there because that's not what it's about, and we don't care.
One of those special stories is live now on Netflix in a documentary called The Remarkable Life of Evelyn. Maud Steen, who played a character named Evelyn, lived a life in Azeroth that he couldn't in the real world. He suffered from Duchenne muscular dystrophy for most of his life and fought it courageously alongside his incredible family, who I'm proud to have met and fallen in love with. Because
This is again like, if you wanted to put out a little documentary, a little blog, whatever, okay, fine, you know, like, oh, look, okay, fine, whatever. But they've already gone over their whole spiel, and now they're just hammering this in. It's like, okay, yeah, I feel bad for the kid. That's amazing. He managed to find a way to play the game that he loved. You know, that's great. I'm not talking about him. He's fine. I'm talking about her grandstanding about this idea, like, look at us. We're the best because we do all this stuff. See, we're for everybody. It's like, we get it. Stop it. Stop wearing pride pins. Stop doing all this stuff. Just make orcs kill humans and humans kill orcs. That's all we want.
Mats and his roleplay guild called
To bring you the final phase of Cataclysm Classic when our
Dragon
Hour
Soul
Twilight Patch and Dragon Soul Raid launch early next year. I know you Classic players out there must be curious where we're going next. But let's be honest, you know where we're going next.
I'm actually mildly surprised that they are doing Mists of Pandaria. I'm mildly surprised because I figured they were not going to do it because they did that time walking thing. I like this animation. Like, that animation actually looks kind of cool. My knees are starting to hurt. Yeah, like I said just now, like, I'm actually mildly surprised because they did the time walking thing. I did not expect them to do Mists of Pandaria Classic. I either expected them to stop or do like a Legion Classic or something. But I mean, that's fine. Mists of Pandaria is actually my favorite expansion, next to Wrath of the Lich King. And I already did like a whole playthrough of what's it called, Stormforge. So if you want to see my playthrough of Stormforge and my thoughts of just on Mists of Pandaria itself as an expansion, I have videos reviewing them and covering the server, the expansion. Like I said, Mists of Pandaria is, I think, one of, if not the best World of Warcraft expansion, just because of how much it brought to the table. Yes, there are issues with it, and I do cover that in my video, which is why I only rated it a 4 out of 5 rather than a 5 out of 5. But it is, in most cases, much better than Wrath of the Lich King, because Wrath of the Lich King, yes, there are a lot of things that are cool about it. It failed in a lot more ways to the game comparatively to other expansions, so that's why I ranked Mists of Pandaria above Wrath of the Lich King. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Mists of Pandaria Classic is fine. I'm not gonna play it because I have Stormforged that I could play for free, so I'll just go play Stormforged again. But nothing wrong with that here. I'm just mildly surprised that they're actually doing it.
We are so pleased to announce that we
Fresh
are bringing
vanilla?
the classic experience. All these systems with the WoW Classic 20th Anniversary Edition. And it's happening soon.
How soon, Clay?
Actually soon.
The classic server.
On November
There you go. Alex Central could be happy now. He gets his fresh servers.
21st, but you won't have to rush to level 6. And our first raid, Molten Core, won't unlock for a few weeks after launch.
Okay,
We'll be
that's
launching realms
fine.
of all flavors: PvP, normal PvE, and for the very first time, hardcore, which will progress through the phases in lockstep.
That's
with
fine.
the other two.
That's
this
fine.
means a fresh start for everyone at the same time, together.
Actually, I wish what they would do. There are other games that do this, like I believe old school RuneScape does this. Is if your character dies on hardcore mode, they get sent to the normal realm, and you could still play the character. You just no longer can play on the hardcore realm, and you don't have the hardcore status. I think that would be actually really cool if they. I don't know if they're gonna do that. I haven't watched the rest of the video yet, but it would be really cool if they did that. That way, if let's say you're one of those people, because I've seen this so many times happen on Turtle WoW, where you get all the way to level 59 and then you get fucked. It's like, you did all that work. At least let him keep the character, you know what I mean? He just doesn't get the special title.
On a level playing field with fresh economies on very large realms.
If you missed out on jumping into WoW Classic's initial launch in 2019, this is the perfect time.
I'm not gonna play this, by the way, because it's gotten to the point. I covered this like a year or two ago on another video, but I know a lot of people have joined me since then, and you're probably watching me for the first time now. But the reason why I'm not going to play this is a couple of reasons. One, I started playing private servers for Classic in 2016, so that's like 8, almost 9 years now that I've been playing Classic, just Classic, and I do love the game. The game is great. It's one of my all-time favorites. I mean, that's why I have a channel to play the game. But between starting over on those few servers, starting over on Classic WoW, starting over on Turtle WoW, starting over on Project Epoch, starting over on Azeroth at War, starting over here, starting over... It's gotten to the point that I don't want to make another level 1 character. I just want to make a character and play the server that I've been playing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to keep making new characters, new accounts, because it gets tiresome to do that. Like, I like playing the game. I don't mind making a new character and playing it through, but when it's a brand new character, you don't have other characters, you don't have alts, you don't have a way to get gold after the first time, because grinding gold by yourself on your first character is a pain in the ass, but your second character, it's easier because you can fund gold from your main character. And so it's a little bit easier to make an alt character. But it's just, you know, the aspect of just starting fresh, brand new, no new characters, no friends, nothing. I can't do it anymore. That's why when I cover private servers, a lot of them I don't actually play because, like, I'll follow them and cover them, but I don't actually play them because of that reason. It has to be an extraordinary, like, out-of-the-box server for me to get on and at least try it, let alone play it. So that's why I am on Turtle WoW. That's why I want to play, like, the Classic Plus, the custom servers such as World of RuneScape and all these other servers, because they are new, they are fresh, so it definitely eases the starting over part because there's a lot of new stuff to encounter. So that's why I'm not going to be playing this.
To join our community. These servers will also launch with some of the quality of life features that came later on, like the Chronogoon Displacer to save your world buffs, and the improved PvP honor ranking system.
Wait, okay, I don't remember what the improved honor ranking system was. So I don't know, I can't comment on that, but that thing to save your world buffs, that is actually really good. Now, I am actually against world buffs because of the amount of like toxicness that came from I would say it started with the streaming scene and the how-to videos on YouTube of how to do all this to get the maximum min-max your character, to min-max your character, all the kind of stuff for endgame rating for Classic WoW. So that kind of led to that kind of environment, which didn't really exist before Classic WoW. Yeah, you had some people doing it on the private servers, but not nearly as bad as it was on Classic WoW. It was terrible. And unfortunately, a lot of that trickled into private servers now. Again, not nearly as bad, but it has infiltrated into the private server scene. So that is definitely going to be an improvement, because even though you still have to do all that bullshit, all the prepping, all the time wasting just to get those buffs to kill a boss 10 seconds faster, to being able to actually use your character instead of logging off and waiting for the raid so you don't waste your buffs, that's an improvement. And if somebody kills you too, so that way you can pop it up and just go and raid, right? So that's an improvement. I'll say that's definitely better. I would prefer if this fresh realm took away world buffs that are not usable in raids. Like allow you to get the world buff, but they're not usable in raids, only in world content, if you know what I mean. So you're not completely removing them, you're just limiting the use, because then it makes it a better playing field for raids in general, that you're not, like, you know, working around the system, if you know what I mean. But anyway, here's the roadmap for Classic WoW. So let's see. Okay, so there's Cataclysm, Autumn is Firelands, Winter's Hour of Twilight, Spring is Mists of Pandaria. So yeah, I would say I was about right for Mists of Pandaria launching. Roughly. Actually, I think 6 months would have been closer to the summertime, but that's close enough. Now, the Theramor's Fall. Wait, hang on. Monk playable, Pandaren playable, they're moving that back? Oh, no, that's pre-patch. Okay, pre-patch Theramor's. Okay, I understand now. When I read Theramor's Fall, I thought that was something else. I thought that was like patch 5.1 or something. No, that was me misreading it. So yeah, that's fine. Look at now. Here's a Season of Discovery. Who the fuck cares? That's terrible. The classic edition launching autumn. Okay, so it's actually launching soon. Then you have that, and eventually by end of next year they will go into Burning Crusade. Okay, that's cool.
And yes, we're also pleased to announce that these realms will progress to the Burning Crusade Classic.
I would say keep one realm, at least one or two realms, like one PvE, one PvP realm, for people who want to stay on Classic, and then and people can transfer there freely, and then have all the other ones progress into TBC. I already made a video of how I hate this animation.
Such an incredible moment.
Fuck you, Ian. I've hated Ian for
the
years now.
Kicked off in August with the launch of The War Within, and we have been so excited to dive into the expansion alongside all of you. Whether you enjoy raiding,
I've hated Ian Hazzikostas since like
pets and mounts,
I would say Warlords of
role-playing, or
Draenor.
exploring the open world, we hope you found a part of Azeroth that brings you joy. It's humbling what happened to Jaina and Thrall after they left us.
Wait, are they finally gonna have the Magar chick do something? Because she's been sitting there since like BFA doing nothing.
This novella is narrated by none other than Chris Metzen and available today.
Wait, they say narrated or written by?
This novella is narrated by none other than Chris Metzen and available today.
See, I'm not sure because the art style looks cool. It definitely looks more Warcraft-ish, and Chris Mattson voice acting it would be really cool. But this is still going to be modern-day Warcraft storytelling, and I don't know how I feel about that. And I don't know, it says this is written by Adam Christopher. I don't know who the fuck that is, so I don't really have a way to vet him to see, like, is he good at writing stories? Like, I'm not too sure about this. I'll have to look into it.
Now, this is a city unlike any city.
I mean, we've been waiting for Undermine since Vanilla WoW because it's in the game in Vanilla WoW. I mean, and it's not in the actual game itself, but it's in the lore in Vanilla WoW. It's in Kazan, which Kazan is actually an island in the map of Vanilla WoW. Now, we got to see Kazan and talked a little bit about Undermine in Cataclysm with the Goblin Starting Zone. Now, a lot of people thought Undermine was destroyed in the Cataclysm. It wasn't. It's under the ground. The volcano only destroyed above ground. So, I don't remember the name of the town, but the town that was up on top of Kazan, that's destroyed, but Undermine is not.
We've seen before in World of Warcraft, standing as a testament to the intelligence and creativity of the goblins as masters of technology and alchemy. And as our adventures continue, we will learn more about goblin culture than ever before. What's important to them, what problems they're trying.
And the thing is, the goblins have tons of trade companies. Like, we only really see like 3 in game. One of them is partnered with the Horde. Other ones are more neutral. Then you have like one that's more aggressive, like VentureCo, right? VentureCo. You have Steamweedle. You have Bilgewater. So all of those are different cartels. There's way more in Undermine. Some that we've never even heard of. And by the way, this is going off of my like lore knowledge of the South Seas, because I have been looking into South Seas lore for a long time, and Undermine is one of them because it's part of Kazan, which is an island of the South Seas. So that's why I know so much about Undermine before we've even seen it.
To solve, what they're capable of as a society. Everything that makes them truly unique, beyond the humor and the explosions. Though, just to be clear, there's going to be a whole lot of explosions. You'll arrive at an Undermine that's plunged into conflict between the 4 major goblin cartels: Steamweedle, Blackwater, Bilgewater, and of course, the Venture Company.
Wait, so there only had before? Okay, to his credit, he said the 4 major ones. So there's probably smaller ones, but in the lore, I mean, those are 4 of them, but there are so many more out there. So, again, to his credit, he only said the 4 major ones, which those are the ones that we already know of. But, come on, man, at least add other ones, too. Add new ones.
You will align yourself with a group of your choice and run into notorious goblins like Monty Gazlo, Renzik the Shiv, Baron Revelgaz, Marin Noggenfogger, and more.
Noggenfogger, that's right! He's in Vanilla, gives you the Noggenfogger elixir. Revelgaz, he's in Booty Bay. The one guy, he's Gallywix's son, I believe, if I'm correct. And I don't know who the other one is, but obviously he's VentureCo.
Now, if you're going to be in cahoots with a goblin cartel, you can't be seen rolling around in anything less than a truly blinged out ride. So early on, you'll earn a vehicle designed just for Undermine to push the boundaries of locomotion within World of Warcraft.
That's not unheard of. They've done that before with Vashir and the Seahorse.
Undermine was built for speed, with roads designed for driving, which is just as well, because this car travels much, much faster than your regular ground mounts. You can also further adjust your car's driving characteristics. Do you prefer grip, or do you want to drift more? Do you want more acceleration, even if it's going to come at the expense of your top speed? That's up to you. You can try it all and rule the streets of Undermine, living your life 440 yards.
That's fine, I like that.
We'll also be adding a new dungeon in Undermine, Operation Floodgate, which is a race to stop a group of goblins from blowing a dam that would bring ruin to the ringing.
So a problem they've had in World of Warcraft for expansions now, this is not a new thing, is that they started turning dungeons into scenarios, is what I like to call them now. They're not dungeons, they're not delving deep into the depths of something and you have to figure your way out and discover things like in vanilla World of Warcraft. Uh, it went from that to TBC where they started the quick romps, and eventually, I would say, not I would say starting a little bit in Cataclysm, but more so in Mists of Pandaria, is where dungeons turned into scenarios, how they're more story driven. But the problem is the way that dungeons are in modern World of Warcraft, with you having to run the same 5 to 6 dungeons over and over and over and over and motherfucking over again, it gets repetitive and boring. It's just time. It's just wasting your time, and it's like, god damn. This is one of the reasons why I stopped playing the game, is because, and this is the only content to do at endgame. So it's like, fuck, I don't want to have to keep doing this bullshit over and over again. Like, if it was a classic dungeon, you only have to run the dungeon a few times, and those few times, it's large expanse. It's not really time gatey, like you don't have to wait for a freaking roleplay event to happen. Some of them do, obviously, like you have the Zul'Farrak one where the guys are running up the pyramid, but that's like the one time, right? It happens very rarely, and even then, you could skip it. It's not mandatory. So I don't know. I don't like this at all.
Deeps. This dungeon will also be immediately available as part of our new Season 2 dungeon pool. The team does have one more thing to share with you.
Player housing? Are they actually adding player housing after 20 years? In the next expansion! They're finally adding player housing for the 20 years into the game's life, but in the next expansion. Oh, for fuck's sake, Blizzard, come on. I guess better late than never, right? But okay, let's joking aside, player housing, yes, cosmetic only. Don't, because that was the problem that they led with the garrisons, because garrisons was originally supposed to be cosmetic only, and then they turned it into mandatory bullshit, right? So if it's cosmetic only, away from all of the mandatory content, right? Again, optional, optional, optional. Let us put the house wherever we want. Just like the, I would say, just like the garrison, allow people to join a party, and whoever the party leader is, that's whose house you can go into and visit. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but then people spend all their time in their houses. No, that's not the case, because any other game, especially, I'm going to go back to RuneScape. RuneScape, people don't spend all day in their house. They spend all day in Varrock by the Grand Exchange, or actually out doing in the game, playing the game. The only reason you would go into your house is if you want to role play or just hang out with your friends. The reason why people did that in the garrisons is because they made it so everything was available from the garrison. You had trade chat, you had auction house, you had bank, you had mining, you had herbalism, you had the different huts that did all the different professions. You had the quests that you got in the tavern, you had the lumber mill stuff, you had like everything readily available in the garrison. Again, that led to gameplay mechanics that were mandatory to play the game. If that... Okay, luckily, I did not lose the footage for the last hour that you've probably been watching me talk about, but OBS was that close to crashing. It literally went unresponsive. But anyway, it's saved. We're good. We're good. We're good. But I don't remember where I left off. I know I was talking about player housing, so you might see some weird editing, but I'm gonna try to continue from where I was. So the reason why it was mandatory in Warlords is because of all the different stuff that they added of why people would want to stay in the garrison, which is, you know, trade chat, bank, profession items, all that kind of stuff. While in old school RuneScape, it's just all cosmetic. So that's really, hopefully you saw the rest of it. If not, it can go into a whole big conversation, but that's really why I don't think player housing is going to be like the garrisons. There's tons of reasons why it's not remotely the same. Now, how are they going to do that? Well, if they pay attention to the private server scene as much as I do, which I know they do a little bit because they do have their eyes on Turtle WoW and Ascension WoW at the minimum. If they look at other servers, such as one that is currently in development called Sargeras' Embrace, they use the same customization, UI, and programming that the modern day Dragonflight and War Within does to customize your dragon and to customize your character, which is the what's the base way it is? If you've played World of Warcraft recently, they've completely overhauled character creation, your dragon creation using the same system, but they use that to customize the house, and then from there you could add and place things wherever you want. So if they follow that same blueprint, it'd be beautiful, right? It'd be perfect. So there is great potential with the player housing system that they could do. How they're going to do it, and if they're going to do it as cleanly as I've seen at least the Sargeras' Embrace server, we don't know. They might make it better. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But lately, Blizzard has been... and by lately, I mean the last couple of expansions. They'll announce something, it looks great on paper, the trailer, the talk about it looks great, but then in practice, it's dog shit. So we'll have to wait and see on that. You can hate on Warlords of Draenor all you want. The music is phenomenal. I love the Warlords of Draenor music. Anyway, for like the past, I would say hour has been the orchestra. I just kind of skipped through it a little bit. It's still live right now. I just caught up to it, and they're still doing the orchestra. So I'm going to end the video here. So I'm making 2 videos out of this. I'm going to do my reaction to the entire thing, as well as the one of just Warcraft, because I think that's the biggest takeaway from here. I think the Warcraft revamp is definitely the most hype if they do it right. So far it looks good, but if they do it right, that's going to be the biggest thing. And I actually want to buy that chest of all 3 games. So definitely that's something I plan on doing. I'm going to replay. I just replayed Warcraft 1, and I have my little mini retrospective review on it, so you can go check that out. But I definitely want to replay it with the new graphics. I want to replay Warcraft 2. I want to replay Warcraft 3 with the new graphics. So that's going to be interesting to see. Definitely. I don't give a rat's ass about anything else that was there. Interesting that they're finally, after 20 years, adding the housing, player housing, but I don't... I guess Undermine looked kind of cool, and Undermine did look cool, okay? But I don't give a rat's ass about War Within. I don't give a rat's ass about Hearthstone. I don't give a rat's ass about, what's it called? Warcraft Rumble. I thought it was called Arclight, wasn't it? I don't fucking care. It doesn't fucking matter, but... yeah, with the classic stuff, the classic servers, it's fine. There's nothing harmful about it. I don't care about Season of Discovery. I think it's fucking stupid. Mists of Pandaria is completely fine. Again, that's like my favorite expansion. There's nothing wrong with it. I was surprised that they actually did it. I thought they were gonna skip over it and go to Legion because they just did Mists of Pandaria with the other thing, which I absolutely hated that Mists of Pandaria time walking thing, because it wasn't Mists of Pandaria. It was like its own unique game mode system bullshit using the Mists of Pandaria skin. It didn't have all of the roleplay elements, like all the different foods, all the different items, all the different stuff. It was just bronze, 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 bronze. Oh, you got this other stuff that you can, all this armor you can't use because you have something else. All this useless trash, just convert it into bronze. More bronze, bronze, bronze. All this useless stuff, bronze, bronze, bronze. That's basically the entire game mode. And the only thing that I liked was being able to play as a Zandalari. That was the only thing that was kind of cool, because you could play as Zandalari in Mr. Pandaria, which is when the newer models were introduced. So I would say the second iteration, right? Because I have like fourth iteration. There's 4 iterations. So this is the third iteration. So because you have the classic, and then you had the Cataclysm, and then you had Mr. Pandaria, and then you had Battle for Azeroth's Zandalari. So the third iteration of Zandalari. So it was kind of cool to do that, but other than that, I hated that game mode. I thought it was absolutely boring and useless and stupid. So yeah, but besides that, there's nothing wrong with the Mists of Pandaria expansion itself. Again, it's one of my favorite. I think Mists of Pandaria expansion is the only expansion to actually do the factional war correctly. It was story driven. There were open world conflicts that you can actually see out in the world. There were ramifications for each side. They both had morally gray opinions on what they should do, and actions, not just opinions, with actions. Like, you had Jaina absolutely slaughtering the Blood Elves because they a couple of them took the bell, and she blamed them for the other stuff, and it led into this whole cycle of hatred, which is, again, why I do not believe any of the peace, love, and hugging friendship bullshit that got introduced in Dragonflight. Like, you can have a peace pact to not attack each other, but there's no friendships, there's no love between an orc and a human, okay? There's no love at all, especially with the modern story, not even looking back into Warcraft, looking at just a couple of expansions ago with the burning of Teldrassil. Why in the motherfucking hell would a night elf befriend an orc or an undead or anybody of the horde, for that matter? So no, the cycle of hatred is still there. You are never going to get rid of it. That's why it's called a cycle. So seeing it in action in Mists of Pandaria was good, because it not only progressed the story, it showed both sides were fucked. You know, the Alliance were not goody two-shoes. They had bad stuff too. The Horde side had some good elements, because Vol'jin was actually getting up into action, and he wanted to keep the Horde on a roll. He doesn't like the Alliance, but he's not gonna go and fucking slaughter children like Garrosh did. So he, which, by the way, the Garrosh storyline is a little bit bullshit in my opinion, but either way, like, that's what I'm trying to say. There's good and there's bad. And seeing it play into action, be actually good, not so much interrupted by, oh, well, now there's an old god, I guess we'll drop everything, go after the old god. It continued until the end. And seeing that focus on the factional war, seeing fucking night elves getting impaled with all these arrows on the beach as they're storming the beaches of Krasarang, like, that was badass. I just replayed it. It's fresh in my mind. So, yeah, like I said, Mists of Pandaria is an absolutely great expansion, but I am not going to play it on Blizzard's servers. If I want to replay it, I am going to be replaying it on Stormforged, because, for one, it's free, and 2, I already have a character on there, because I explained earlier in this video that I don't want to have to make another character. Now I don't have a main character, so now I have to start all over again with all this other bullshit. I already have a character. I have two characters on Stormforged. So if I wanted to start a new character, a new fresh playthrough, it would be easier. So I'm just kind of tired of it. But anyway, that's gonna be the end of this video. And I hope you got some at least insight, saw some of my excitement, some of my hatred toward what's going on now in Blizzard, and I will see you next time.